Hello? Hi guys, can everyone hear me? Perfect. So that's us on 22. Let me quickly turn that over. So hi guys, and welcome to the talk on Delta Lake Foundation of the Lakehouse. My name's Sarah Carthy. I work as a solution architect here at Databricks. But before I start, does anyone have any kind of familiarity with the Lakehouse? Can we get that with a raise of hands, just so I know how to kind of tailor the pitch? Okay, perfect. We've got a jazz hands in there as well. So we move over to the next slide. What I'm going to do is kind of briefly introduce Databricks and kind of the Lakehouse concept. So Databricks is known as the Lakehouse company. We are the inventor and pioneer of the data lakehouse. We have been recognized by Gartner in kind of multiple areas. We've got over 7,000 customers across the globe of different kind of various sizes. Hopefully some of you guys might have used some of our open source projects, including Delta Lake, Apache Spark, and also MLflow, which is my personal favorite. We've raised over $3 billion in investment to date, and we've got over 3,000 employees. So this is just to show that we're not kind of 3 people in a basement. So if we kind of focus on data analytics and AI, this has always been at the center of innovation. So Fangs and others have led the way and showed everyone the opportunity. They've kind of put data and AI to use in really strategic ways, and that's kind of changed the landscape as we see it today. So if we look at kind of the left-hand side of this curve, kind of almost looking backwards, this has traditionally been the kind of domain for data warehouses for decades. And then if we start to look on the kind of right-hand side, this is where your innovators all sit. So they're using data to begin to predict the future with more of a focus on kind of looking how you will behave or how the environment around you will behave, and then almost responding to that in a real-time fashion. But it's not just kind of FANG companies that are doing this. There are some other companies within the space that have been having kind of significant success too. So if we start with Goldman Sachs, so Goldman Sachs have been using AI to assess credit card applications, credit risk, to approve the Apple Card. So they can now approve an application in less than 5 minutes. The CEO named this as one of the most successful credit card launches ever. If we look at Riot Games, so they've been using AI to provide player-specific recommendations. So this improves engagement and hopefully reduces churn. We've kind of valued this alongside Riot as 500 million in new revenue. If we look at Walmart, so Walmart was able to discover really hard to detect inefficiencies within their supply chain, and this has led to savings of over 100 million. But kind of frankly, most of companies aren't seeing results like this. So the vast majority that we see at Databricks and across the landscape are struggling to get their data and AI efforts into production at scale. And the reason for this comes down to the fact that they're trying to make data and AI work together, and sometimes that could be super difficult. So the challenge here is that most companies implement 2 different platforms to answer their questions. You've got data warehouses for BI, and you've got data lakes for AI. These platforms are normally incompatible with each other, but you need data from both systems to be able to deliver really outstanding outcomes. So to be able to get those kind of game-changing, define the landscape outcomes. So this makes success with AI super, super difficult with the existing landscape that we have. So let's have a look at kind of the detailed reasons as to why that happens. So today, most of your data will be landing into the data lake, and a lot of that is unstructured. So in fact, 90 to 90% of the data in many organizations is unstructured. But this is kind of where most of your value from AI will sit. Then what happens is subsets of that data are then copied. 1 second. There we go. Subsets of the data are then copied across, and sometimes they'll even be copied back. So what you've done here is you start to duplicate data in 2 different systems. So any changes that you make in one system are unlikely to find their way into the other. So you've got to have kind of data drift almost immediately. And you're also going to have to pay for the storage costs in those two locations. Again, there we go. And then because governance is now happening at 2 levels across these different platforms, you're not going to be able to control things at that level consistently between the 2 platforms. And then finally, the tool stacks on top of these platforms are fundamentally different. So it makes it really, really difficult to get any kind of collaboration going between your data engineers, your analytics users, and your data science machine learning users. So, and this kind of is at the heart of why we face the issues with AI. So the good news is that there is no need to have 2 different platforms. Rather than kind of copying and transforming data into multiple systems, you'd have one platform that can accommodate lots of different data types. Ideally, the platform would be open so that you aren't locked into any walled gardens. You'd also have one security and governance model. It would not only handle all data types, but it would also be cloud agnostic, and it would govern data wherever it's stored. And last, it would support all major data and AI workloads so that your teams can easily collaborate and get access to all the data they need to innovate. So the good news is you're able to have all of your data, structured and unstructured, in one place. We then bring reliability and extremely fast performance, so query performance, to that data without leaving the lake with an open technology called the Delta Lake. And this is so that you can use it for data warehousing workloads. Next, kind of on top of that stack, you've got Unity Catalog. So this provides your governance for all of the data with one consistent model. And then what we offer on top of that is purpose-built tools to allow everybody to collaborate on that data. So the key advantages of this are that you've dramatically simplified your data architecture for all of your workloads. So for your data science, your data engineering, your data analytics workloads, they all sit now within one space. Your data warehousing, data science, and ML, as well as your kind of data streaming and your data engineering. And then the entire platform is built on open source and open standards. So this now means that you'll have a lot of freedom in how you start to evolve your data strategy. You're not going to have any kind of walled gardens or anything to restrict your present or your future choices. So this isn't also kind of including the fact that because it is now open source, the vast majority of kind of the community of talent resides there is so good that it would be not beneficial to not go down the path of open source. And then finally, you get kind of one consistent experience. You don't need to invest in reinventing the wheel. For every cloud platform that you choose, you're able to support your data and AI workloads in, again, one place. So if we talk about kind of the Delta Lake key features, so again, this is some of the elements within the platform. This is a limited set, but this is why the Delta Lake is so performant and I guess so widely adopted by so many organizations. So we can start with ACID transactions, scalable metadata, the ability to do time travel, the full audit history. You can unify your batch and streaming. You don't need to have kind of a separate process for each. Schema evolution, enforcement, data constraints, and generalized columns, and DML operations. Now, if I quickly jump forward, we can talk about kind of ACID transactions. So the key point here is that Delta Lake ensures reliability with ACID transactions. So this should prevent data corruptions. So but this guarantees that any operation that you do on your data either fully succeeds or gets aborted, and then it can be rerun. So because of this, we've noted that you can allow multiple streams of data, and you're able to modify that within the data lake concurrently. And this can't be done with regular data lakes. Because of the ability to work in parallel as well, you've got your data science, data engineering users that can focus their time, instead of fixing errors, they can produce a quicker, faster time to insight. And we've noted that at around 50%. The data lake also ensures data quality and enables a true single source of truth for all of your organization's data. And this includes real-time streams. So your users, so your data users, can then work on the same set of data, scale insights throughout the organization, and run analytics and any other data projects directly on the freshest, most complete set of data that you have. The next point is lightning fast performance. So with Delta Lake and the improved performance it provides, new customers can develop new features, so lowering the costs of experimentation and accelerating innovation. So the kind of key stats that we promote here, and again, these are changing all the time, but with Delta Lake, customers have seen a 24 times faster query performance, 48 times faster for ETL workloads, leading to a 2x increase in decision-making speed due to productivity gains. And again, Delta Lake is built with Apache Spark, so this is the highest scale data layer that exists. Under the hood, this enables immense scale and speed, and with a number of features to index data as part of the Delta engine. Delta creates and maintains a list of information about the ingested data, which can optimize and speed up querying dramatically. Things that you'll see in there are things like Z ordering, so your multi-dimensional clustering, data skipping, and the ability to auto-optimize. We've also got security and compliance at scale. So Data Lake itself reduces risk and enables you to quickly and accurately update data in your data lake to comply with regulations such as GDPR and maintain better governance throughout audit logging. It enables your practitioners to securely experiment with reliable data and act on insights faster according to governance and regulatory standards. And because Delta Lake doesn't require you to move your data into a proprietary system, you are now able to maintain your organization's security standards within the Delta Lake itself. So that's really key. You're not moving your data anywhere. You're applying your rules on top of where your data would normally sit, whether that be S3, ADLS, or GCS. So again, with Databricks' kind of extensive ecosystem of partners, you've also got the ability to enable a variety of security and governance functionality based on their individual needs. So we've got partners such as kind of Immuta that can help in this space as well. We've also got the ability to do automated and reliable data engineering, and those that have used Databricks before will know how easy it is to use. We've got some new product features in that space, including kind of DLT, an auto loader, so if anyone's got any interest specifically in the personas, whether that be data science, data engineering, analytics, then we've got a stand over at the back, and we've got some specialist SAs that would be happy to speak to you about those topics. But again, you've got easy pipeline development and maintenance. You can also integrate with your favorite repo. So say you use Git, we've got new repo functionality. So if you don't like notebooks, that's fine. It's not everyone's preference. You can go code first. And the last thing is open and secure data sharing. So Delta sharing is a pretty big new advancement. And the key thing for Delta sharing, if you take anything else away, is that you don't need to have Databricks to receive the Delta share. You can receive it from any platform. So again, you're not being locked into a vendor here. So you've got the ability to easily share data with other organizations, again, regardless of which computing platform they use. So I can read that in from a Power BI dashboard and almost query the data as if it's my own S3 bucket. And the governance that supports this is based around UC as well. So Unity Catalog, sorry. And this applies central management and auditing for you to be able to distribute that data, whether you choose to distribute that internally and create an internal marketplace, or whether you choose to do that externally and create an external marketplace where you can start to monetize your data. So open and agile is pretty key here, right? So this is, given the new announcements of Delta now being open sourced, we need to focus, I guess, on how Delta Lake is an open format that works with other open source ecosystems. So the key point here is that we're trying to move away from vendor lock-in. Databricks cannot do everything within the ecosystem. The idea here is that you take the best in class of each of the products. Hopefully Databricks will be your choice of compute engine, and then you will plug and play with the rest of the tools that sit within your organization. So all data in the data lake is stored in the open Apache Parquet format, allowing data to be ready to be read by any compatible reader. Developers can use Delta Lake with kind of existing pipelines with minimal changes. It's fully compatible with Spark, the most commonly used kind of big data processing engine. And Delta Lake also supports SQL DML out of the box to enable customers to be able to migrate your SQL workloads directly into Delta simply and easily. And again, the SQL engines that we have that already integrate with Delta Lake, so you've got Apache Hive, Spark, Redshift Spectrum, Synapse, Presto, Snowflake, Starbus. There's connectors to everything in the organization. So again, this is kind of wrapping up from what we can do as part of Databricks for your organization. So in addition to bringing kind of the best-in-class technology, we also bring a strong collaborative partnership to every engagement that we do. So our expert professional services work alongside you to help your users and IT teams adopt the platform. And we've got experience in kind of partnering with thousands of customers. And this has allowed us to develop what we call solution accelerators. So we've got a catalog of different use cases with code behind it that allows you to basically go and take the code and tweak it and apply it to the data that you have in your organization, or tweak it for your use case. And again, that's available to share if needs be. We've also got a really good structured approach to training that'll help you quickly onboard thousands of your users, and this provides a central capability to own and run the platform. So hopefully that was a whistle-stop tour. We've got some Databricks employees kind of lined up on the side. So if you've got any further questions about UC, finance, then those are the guys that you want to be speaking to. Thanks again for your time and listening to the conversation. If you want to speak further about any of the points that I've spoken today, specifically around the Delta features, then please go to the Databricks stand at the back. Thank you.